Hello everyone, welcome to this new video of Basics of Java. And now in the Basics of Java we are going to learn another concept that is called as the concept of constructors we were working on. And now in the concept of constructors we are now working on the next concept, that is constructor overloading. So how does the constructors get overloaded? Let's just check that out. So before working on to the constructor overloading, let me just create a class over here showing an example of constructor again. Exactly what does that do? So this I have created a class student over here, and in class student I'll be taking some of the variables like int roll number and name. Okay, so I have just created these two variables up to now. So what is the role of the constructor over here? Well, again, as we know, to access the member of a class we definitely need to create an object of it. So here I'll be creating an object over here. I have created an object over here. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to give value to it like this. So s1 dot name is equal to, say, Ria. Okay, now in this scenario what I have done is I have firstly created an object, and after creating the object I have initialized, I have given values to these instance variables referring to that object, right? But now if I wanted, during the creation of the object only, if I want to initialize this object with these variables, then with these values, not even variables, with these values, what I need to do is I need to work with the constructor. How? So I'll tell you that. Let me just show you. Okay, and I will be just printing out the statement over here, that is s1 dot roll number, s1 dot name. See, roll number and name. Now what I will do, I'll not use this kind of way to do all of this stuff. I'll just do one thing. I'll create a constructor over here, and after I have created the constructor, I'll be initializing these values. So I'll be giving roll number a particular value, say 101, and name is equal to, I have given Ria. Okay, so now this is one way where as soon as the object will get created, exactly at that point the variables will also get initialized or initiated respected to that object. Okay, apart from that, if you want to display the data, you do not need to go for the SOP statement. What we will do over here, I will be just creating another method, that is display method. Okay, and here I will be printing the name. So what I will do over here, I will simply call on display method over here. See, the work is done now. Now this was for the zero parameterized constructor, and this data can be used only for one student. So now what happens when I have created or I have to work with different objects? So at that point what I will be doing now, so for example, I have created one object over here, and then I'll be creating second object over here. See, I have created object second over here as well as s2. So I definitely need to initialize the values for s1 and I need to initialize the values for s2, right? How am I supposed to do? And that too I want to do during the creation of the object. So now what I will do is I will provide this constructors two values, that is, say for example 101 and Ria were the first values, and similarly I will be providing it 102 comma, say Suresh, I am giving it some values. So it means this constructor is able to take two parameters, that is in roll number and the second one is name. So this constructor, I'll be telling it that to accept one variable as roll number and the second data as name, right? So now whenever these two variable values I have passed through this constructor, and this will lead to where? Over here, right? The roll number and the name value, say for example 101 and Ria for object 1 will work to this. Similarly, when it will give call to the next object, again it will go on over here taking the two values. What we are supposed to do, we have to give these instance variables copies for these two objects storing these two different values, right? So now how am I going to initialize these instance variables? So what am I supposed to do? Initially I was doing something like this. I was just providing the value as 101, right? But this time I am already provided with the roll number value. So what I will say, for example, if the name is X, so I will be writing over here X. That means whatever value 101 has been passed to me. So 101 will get saved into X, and after that it has been saved into X. The value of X will get copied into roll number, right? Will get stored into roll number. Similarly, whatever the value of name will be, let us assume it is N. Therefore, this value will get stored into what? Name, right? And this is how both of the times the values will get stored over here. See, so 101 is getting stored into X, and X value is getting stored into roll number, and the instance variable is getting initialized. Similarly, Ria is getting stored into N, and the value of N is getting stored into name, and then it is getting initialized, and the same will happen with 102 and Suresh as well. Now the concept is, what will happen if these two variables are having the same name as that of present over here? For example, if here is roll number and here it is name, right? What will be the things going on? So it means I have to write it over here, roll number. I have to write here name. Now this time when I will execute it, let's check out the answer. See, 0 and null. It means it has not passed on the values. Or what has happened? So what has happened, 101 and Ria has been passed on over here. Up to here it has been done. Well, these two values were getting stored into the instance variable, right? If you can notice the color coding as well, both of these variables are the same color code of that of these local variables, so they are not referring to the instance variables over here. So to refer them to the instance variable, what we are supposed to do, I will be using a keyword which is called as this. This means that it is reference to the current class's instance variable, and in this way these local variables value will get stored into the instance variable, letting them to initialize these instance variables, and therefore as many questions, as many objects we will create over here and values we will provide, they will get initialized to these instance variables, and then we can access them. So this is how the constructors are being used. A constructor is being created, and now the concept is, if I will say the concept of this keyword. So this is the very first use of this keyword, that is to refer to the instance variables of a class, right? And now because we completely know how does the constructor work, now I will just show a very simple example. Whatsoever constructor you are going to use, say for example, again this is my zero parameterized constructor, okay? So if I am supposed to, if I have to just give values to these instance variables, I have to do it manually. I have to provide the values manually to them. But when it comes to this type of constructor, it means I have to provide both of the values by the user itself. So this is called as constructor overloading. How we will know now? See, I will be creating an object of student is equal s3 is equal to new student. So it is asking me for the two constructors. Why? Either you want to go for creation of the object of this constructor or this one. So whatsoever values you will be provided, based on that it will initialize the instance variables associated with that object. Okay, so this is called as the constructor overloading. These are called as the constructors, and this is the concept of how do we work with the constructors. Hope you guys understand the concept. Thank you very much.